Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today is July 23rd, 2024, and the last video I did, I thought about it a lot and decided to change my channel over to a homesteading channel because I'm no longer on the road anymore. Now I got a local job, home every day, and helping my wife build our little farm, or our little homestead as we like to call it. We got 4 acres in Wyoming, and we're slowly trying to build us into a small farm. However, by the same token, my wife comes from Mennonite background, and she believes in making as many things as she can homemade. Homemade this, homemade that, you name it, everything with her is homemade, and she absolutely loves doing that kind of thing. So this video is gonna revolve around her and how she makes her homemade mayonnaise. She's been making this homemade mayonnaise now for, I don't know, maybe about a month, 3 weeks? 3 months now. And I've been eating it on my sandwiches. And guys, I'm gonna tell you right now, in my opinion, it's sweeter and creamier than any store-bought mayonnaise I've ever tried in my 52 years of living. So that being said, I'm gonna turn the camera around and we're gonna focus on my lovely wife and how she puts her homemade mayonnaise together. Give me just a moment, we're gonna flip this thing around. Honey, it is all you.
Good afternoon, everybody. First thing you'd start with on mayonnaise is 2 eggs. I always make it in the jar that it's gonna be in. It saves dishes and it saves a lot of time.
Well, shoot, I just bumped the camera. Sorry, guys. How many eggs you use, babe?
2. That's all you need, is just the 2.
What size jar is that? Like a quart size?
It's a quart. You need 1 whole lemon and you squeeze it because you just want the juice.
So you're basically getting a freshly squeezed lemon just to get the juice out of it, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Approximately how long does it take you to make a quart-sized jar of mayonnaise?
You have to blend it for at least 5 minutes, sometimes longer. I blend it until it starts getting creamy, and then I put it in the refrigerator and I just keep tabs on it and just check it quite often, stir it up when it needs it. I do mine a little different than most recipes because I don't like mine real oily.
So far we've just used 2 eggs and 1 whole lemon that's squeezed for the juice.
Okay, and then you need a 1/4 teaspoon of ground mustard. Or
Okay.
you can make regular mustard.
Bring that jar into the, let me see this just for a moment. 1/4 teaspoon of ground mustard. Do you actually use a measuring spoon for that? A special measuring spoon?
You use measuring spoons for everything that you make.
Well, I'm asking because I'm not a cook. I don't know.
And I don't level it. Heaping one worked just fine.
I'm asking my wife questions about this while filming this because, guys, straight up, I'm not a cook. I don't do this stuff, so you guys are getting this firsthand just as well as I am. Now, what exactly is that?
This is sea salt. Some people use kosher, some people use regular. I like sea salt because there's nothing in it but salt.
Bring that up to the camera. Let them see the label real good. All right. And as you can see, it's the Great Value brand. She went cheap on that one. I'm kidding, honey. I'm kidding. So how much another 1/4 teaspoon of that?
Mm-hmm.
So far we got 2 eggs, 1 squeezed lemon, 1/4 teaspoon of ground mustard, and 1/4 teaspoon of sea salt.
Now some people don't do this, but I do. I add a tablespoon of my homemade pepper relish.
Ooh, you might want to zoom in and let the camera see that. That's her own homemade pepper relish, guys.
Now with this recipe, you can add chipotle powder, you can add sweet relish, It's a universal recipe. You make it to your taste. Frankly, my husband likes a little bit of a kick in his.
Sorry guys, I like my food just a little bit on the spicy side. On this particular part of the ingredient, you can put in what you want. She adds the kick because that's what I like.
Okay, and you need a 1/4 teaspoon of vinegar. I never measure mine. I just add a dash.
So what is that? Just regular?
Regular white canning vinegar.
Okay. Well, the camera saw that label real clear.
And you just kind of put a splash in it. Use a hand mixer or a hand wand, that's what I call it. I always kept my hand over it because sometimes it gets messy.
How long do you use that to stir it up with?
I stir this up until it's well mixed, and then I add some more ingredients.
Okay. So it's kind of like you're making icing for a cake, almost. So, just for the people that are watching, where can they get one of those hand mixers at?
You can get them at Walmart.
About how much do they cost, depending on where you might get them?
Oh, about $35.
Okay.
Depend on the brand and what you want and what you're looking for. Okay, the normal recipe calls for 2 cups of avocado oil. I add 1 3/4 cups.
All right, hang on. And just in case you missed that, guys, and how much of that again?
It calls for 2 cups. I had 1 3/4 cups because I had something extra to make it nice and creamy. You can add this slow or you can add it all at once. I just pour it in there.
And then what do? You mix it all up again?
Mm-hmm. That's mixed up a little bit. Now here's how I make mine creamy.
Now what exactly is that?
This is coconut oil, which is edible, as well as lard
Hang on a
is
second.
edible.
All right. I wanted the camera to get a really, really good look at that label.
I always add a little of this because it thickens it up, or I add lard.
About how much do you use of that?
About 1/4 cup. Again, I'm not much for measuring, so I just put in a big old scoop of it. You have to excuse me, this is a brand new one that I just opened up.
Any more of a scoop, we can make a candle out of that thing. I'm kidding.
But to make it nice and thick, if you like thick, creamy mayo,
You just put a little more?
you just add a stabilizer, which is what coconut oil and lard is a stabilizer.
So for the people who may not know, what is the difference between coconut oil and lard?
Lard is an animal-based fat. Coconut oil is from coconuts.
Okay, but they do basically the same thing though, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
The hard part is getting this stuff down underneath your mixer.
Let's go ahead and move this jar of coconut oil out of the way so the camera can see everything.
And as you can see, it's starting to thicken up a little bit.
now that you've stopped for just a moment, I was just about to ask, do you add anything else to it? So you're adding a little bit more coconut oil to make it a little thicker, right?
Yep. It thickens up the best in the refrigerator once you're done mixing it, because that's chilling it is what helps it get good and thick.
Kind of like homemade ice cream. You make it, but then you put it in the freezer to get it cold. Do you add anything else to it, or that's it? You just maybe add a little bit more coconut to thicken it up a little more and a little more.
You add the coconut oil as much as you think you need it to thicken it up, but it turns a beautiful kind of golden white after it's all refrigerated.
Golden white or golden yellow?
Golden white.
Okay, kind of like a pearly white, like something like this.
Yeah.
Okay. So in order to get it thicker and thicker and thicker, or keep it fairly thin, it's all about the coconut oil.
Yep.
Okay. Now, while she's doing that, honey, from start to finish, about how long does it take to do that? The way that, as thick as the way I like it.
It takes 5 to 10 minutes to get it fully mixed, and it takes about 30 minutes in the refrigerator.
In order for it to chill and get a little thicker.
Yeah.
Okay. So now let's get back to mixing. What was that?
Air pocket.
Ah, you had to break the air pocket to get it mixed in better. Gotcha.
Alright, now it's a little bit soupy, but that's where the refrigerator comes in handy.
Alright, now.
And if you refrigerate it for 30 minutes to an hour and it's
Hang on.
still a little soupy, pull your blender back out, pull your coconut oil or your lard, whichever one you will prefer to use, and mix it up some more. And you just keep doing that until it's the thickness you want.
So the texture, whether it's thin or thick, depending on how you like it, is all about the coconut oil or the lard.
Yep. And keeping it mixed up.
And then adding that in order to get it thicker and thicker.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so if you like it thin, keep it thin. If you like it thick, keep it thick. I like mine a little bit on the thick side, so she usually adds a lot of stuff to that for mine. 16 minutes in so far. Alright guys, from start to finish, right now we're at 16 minutes and 4 seconds.
Alright, now I'm going to put it in the fridge and I will come back later and show you the finished product.
Alright, so we're going to put this video on pause temporarily and then come back later. But in the meantime, while we're on pause, or before we pause this out temporarily, honey, won't you get a fresh jar of your homemade dish soap? And show them one of your other videos to come.
It's took me several tries to get this homemade dish soap. It's still cooling, so I'm having to constantly shake it to keep it from separating.
Bring it in the camera, let them see it. There you go. That's good right there.
But I have found the key to it.
Hang on. No. Do that again. Do that again. Now bring that in the camera. All right. Now go ahead and talk about it very briefly.
I have finally got the recipe adjusted to it. The recipe I found I didn't like, so I toyed with it for a lot of tries.
Trial and error kind of thing.
Yes, it was a trial and error, and I'm pretty sure, because this is pretty much cooled, that I finally found, I don't know if you can see it at the bottom here, it's finally liquid instead of gel.
Oh yeah, you can
powdered.
see it.
And the ingredients are really easy to get. And that will be for another video when I make it for you and show you. But this is what the finished product will look like.
All right, guys. All right, so now you see how she has made her homemade mayonnaise. And it was right at 16 minutes into the video when she finally got done mixing it. So now she's going to put that batch in the refrigerator for cooling. And in about an hour, maybe 2 hours, something like that, however long it might take, we're going to bring you back in to show you the finished product after cooling. Stay tuned for the next video where we talk about her homemade soap and how she puts that together. So we're not closing this out yet. We're just going to put you on a brief pause. We're going to bring you right back in to show you the finished product of the mayonnaise. Keep up, guys. All right, guys, we're back after a little pause. In the previous segment, or before I paused the video, I told you that we were going to let the mayonnaise set up in the refrigerator and thicken up, and then we would come back and show you the finished product. Well, now the product is thickened up, it's finished, so I'm going to flip the camera back around, turn things over to my lovely wife who does all the cooking, the homemade this and the homemade that. And she's going to talk to you about the mayonnaise, and I think we ran into a little bit of a snag, and she's going to talk to you about that too. Give me just a minute to flip the camera around.
Hello again. As the mayonnaise was setting up, it wasn't setting up properly. Coconut oil is a good substitute, but unfortunately it does not set up as good as lard does. This is what I use to thicken it up.
Let the camera get a really good shot at that. Morel Manteca Snow-Capped Lard.
I buy this in big tubs. I use it for cooking. All lard is, in case anyone does not know, is rendered animal fat. It is perfectly edible. So I had to add some to the mayonnaise to thicken it up. And as you can see in here,
let's turn the camera down. All right, go ahead.
it's not quite thickened up enough. It'll be in the refrigerator a while, but as it chills, it will thicken up. As you see up here, it's a lot thicker than it was.
All right, now open up the top and let them see inside.
And there is your mayonnaise.
That right there, guys, homemade mayonnaise. Now, so the bottom line, guys, the coconut oil that she was using was kind of like a trial and error.
It's not a trial and error.
Okay, I'm sorry. I apologize. Wrong words.
I do add a small amount of coconut oil because it has necessary fats in it that your body needs. But when it doesn't thicken up like I want it to, I go ahead and add my lard too.
Okay.
I never measure when I add the oils, the coconut or the lard. I just put a spoon in there and blend it up, and when I get the desired thickness, I stop.
So, if the coconut oil is not making it thick enough, then the lard is kind of like a reinforcement.
Yes, it is.
Okay, gotcha.
Personally, I prefer the lard. It makes it thicker, whiter, and it doesn't affect any taste at all. So I would highly recommend using lard instead of coconut oil. But I always add a small dab of the coconut oil because of the nutritional value it has. Other than that, it's real easy to make. Just keep blending, keep shaking, keep stirring until you get the thickness you want.
Okay, now, hope everybody enjoyed the homemade mayonnaise video. In order to make, let me flip the, we're going to leave the camera on you right now. But in order to make the homemade mayonnaise, the process itself takes about 10 to 15 minutes. The rest of the time is in the refrigerator thickening up to your liking. You can always take it back out of the refrigerator and add more lard or coconut oil, depending on how thick you want it. She does recommend using lard as a thickener because it thickens up faster and better, as she just previously mentioned. Go ahead, honey. Go ahead.
You can also add more flavoring, such as more lemon juice, more vinegar, however you want it to taste. The recipe is very universal, and you make it the way you want it to taste.
So now you have the basic idea of how she does her homemade mayonnaise. And in the previous segment, before we paused it, she showed you a jar of her homemade dish soap. So you might want to stay tuned for that video. Honey, do you have anything else you want to add to this one before we close it out?
No, just good luck and keep trying until you get the desired taste and thickness you want.
All
It's
right.
a trial and error basis.
Hang on a minute. Give me just a moment. Thank you for tuning in this time, guys. Catch you next time. Over and out. Please feel free to like, subscribe, share the video with other people. Please feel free to comment on the video. Anything you do to these videos or my channel, our channel, it only helps us support the channel. So please feel free to like, comment, subscribe, share it, whatever. If you want to see more videos about how we do things, please let us know, and we'll do the best we can. And one last hit before we do finally close this video out. My wife has a an herbal garden going outside. She also has an herbal garden going in one of our spare rooms. So she's going to be doing herbal videos as well. If any of you would like to see the herbal videos, let us know. So that way she gets a head up and get things going. Anything else, honey?
No.
All right. Thank you guys for joining. Can't wait to see you in the next one. Later, guys.